do this. So, electronic harassment. Electronic harassment or psychotropic torture or electromagnetic torture is government agents who make use of electromagnetic radiation, such as microwave, auditory effect, radar, and surveillance technique to transmit sounds and thoughts into people's heads, affect people's bodies, and harass people. Individuals who claim to experience this call themselves targeted individuals. Yeah, you know what that. And many have joined support and advocacy groups. So, well, we got a little video here. Let's look at that.
Thank you for coming. My name is Jesse Belton. I'm a retired Sacramento City firefighter paramedic. And basically what we're going to be doing today is what is called radio frequency scanning. So I'm going to go ahead and explain how it works. Okay, there's 3 phases to this. There's a preliminary scan, and what that is we check for radio frequency emissions utilizing what is called the JM20 Pro radio frequency detector. And if you come up positive on that, we'll use a frequency counter, which will give us the frequency that it is picking up or emitting up. Okay. So phase 2 requires this. If you come up positive on the scan, you're still going to need the medical imaging. So you're going to have to obtain an X-ray, an MRI, or a CT, depending on what. But most of the time, you probably only need an X-ray, which is very affordable. It's about between $60 and $80. Okay, and we can help you, guide you to where you need to go to get that done. Okay, but that's the part that needs to happen on phase 2. Phase 3 is we need to go in a controlled environment and do further testing, because so that when we go to court, we can say we're 100% absolutely positive that this person, this human being, is emitting an RF frequency. And the purpose here is to give you evidence. Okay, because if you want doctors, anyone in the medical field, the scientific community, or the law enforcement, or even those in politics, or those in positions of power, even pastors, for example, you really need evidence. Because if you go and tell them the story, it's just a story to them, okay? And they're going to think you're nuts. That's the bottom line. I hate saying that, but that's the truth. And that's what those who are doing this to us want to have. They want us all to be labeled crazy, so you lose all rights. Okay? No.
The following are the results of our tour when we started our radio frequency scanning across America in Sacramento, California. Here are some test results that came up positive of victims of domestic terrorism. This is Christopher, 5 years old. Positive in his left shoulder area. He also came up positive in his right scapula area. His father states this was done to him in a dental office when he received a shot. Our next victim, who came up positive for domestic terrorism, is Bonnie Kellerby. Bonnie has been a victim for over a decade. She came up positive for RF transmission in her right TMJ. In addition, she came up positive near her left TMJ. She also tested positive for RF transmission on her left and right shoulder region. The following who came up positive is David Gonzalez. David came up positive in his right shoulder region. Our next victim is Richard Northern. Richard Northern has been a victim for over 20 years. Richard Northern came up positive for RF transmission near his left TMJ area. This is Barbara. Barbara flew in from out of the country to have an RF scan. Barbara has been tortured over the years in many ways, what most women call a silent rape. She came up positive in her lower lumbar, her lower back area. She can pinpoint with needlepoint accuracy where she believes an implant is, and you can see by our RF testing it comes up positive. Another area that Barbara complained with pinpoint accuracy was the back of her neck, and sure enough we came up with positive radio frequency emission in our preliminary scan.
In Europe, we started the testing tour in the German capital, Berlin, where I met up with the Swedish lawyer Dr. Henning Witte, who was going to interview the victims while I was doing the testing. The first person tested was Waldemar. He tested positive in both sides in the TMJ area.
Und jetzt ein bisschen weg davon. Ja. Noch tiefer. Von der Antenne weg. Was?
Next up was Monica. Monica tested positive in her right TMJ area.
Zur Antenne wieder hin. Von der Antenne weg. Ja, zur Antenne wieder hin. Sieht man das auf dem... Ja. Ist da was? Ja.
Here I'm testing Gisela. Gisela came up positive in the TMJ area on both sides.
Sieht man das?
Man hört es vor allem, jetzt sieht man es auch, ja. Ne? Das ist eindeutig.
She also came up positive in her lower back. I tested both Gisela's children and they both came up positive.
Jetzt dann wieder ans Gerät rantreten.
This is the testing of Sabine.
Was gefunden? Das Lieblinge.
Sabine came up positive in her right TMJ area.
Ans Gerät wieder rantreten. Wieder zurück.
Nee, veränder du mal deinen Arm überhaupt nicht, Lars. Geh mal jetzt wieder weg. Nichts verändern, Lars. Zurück.
Sabine also tested positive on her back at the left shoulder area.
Jetzt wieder weg. Wieder zurück. Noch näher ran. Ja, das ist doch ziemlich eindeutig. Wieder weg.
The following are victims of domestic terrorism who came up positive on radio frequency scans on our tour through Chicago, Illinois. Our first victim is Angela. Angela came up positive on her left temporal area. Our next victim is Sandrea. Sandrea came up positive in her right temporal region.
Positive RF on the right temporal region.
In addition, she came up positive on her right shoulder for emission of radio frequency.
Positive RF on the right shoulder.
Our next victim is Mike. His torture began at approximately age 19.
Alright, let me just zoom in on
He
it.
came up positive in his right temporal region.
Here we go.
Right temporal.
Okay.
Mike also came up positive in his left temporal area.
We ended our European testing tour in Hamburg in northern Germany. In Hamburg, this young man came up positive in his left TMJ area.
Ja, wieder rangehen. Ja, wieder weggehen. Wieder rangehen. Das ist schon eindeutig. Und dann bist du wieder weg davon. Ran. Ja, wieder Signal. Weg davon.
As we continued our testing across the United States, our next stop was Kenosha, Wisconsin. In Kenosha, Wisconsin, we had several people come up positive. Our first victim is Debbie. Debbie had complained of being a victim of domestic terrorism for many years. She suffered from... Debbie came up positive for radio frequency transmission in our preliminary testing near her right flank area. Our next victim is Lisa. Lisa, just as Debbie, has been complaining of being tortured for many years. Lisa came up positive near her left temporal region, just above her ear, and she came up positive near her right temporal area.
Yeah, you see these people? That's a lot of people. Yeah, they all have that in their body, poor TIs. But now it's now proven today, in 2017, you no longer need RFID or chips in your body to be messed with. They have other ways to do it. I covered that in another videos. So what's next? What do we... Direct energy weapons. This is a direct energy weapon. DEW emits highly focused energy, transferring that energy to a target to damage it. Potential application of this technology include anti-personal weapon systems, potential missile defense system, and the disabling of lightly armored vehicles such as car, drones, watercraft, and electronic devices such as mobile phone. You hear that? They use that against tanks, and these cowards, these motherfuckers, they aiming that at us. I mean, innocent citizen, targeted individual. This is sick. The Pentagon, DARPA, the Air Force Research Laboratory, and the Naval Research Laboratory are researching technologies like direct energy weapons, a railgun to counter maturing threats posed by fast missile, such as a ballistic missile, hypersonic cruise missile, and hypersonic glide vehicle. These systems of missile defense are expected to come online in the mid to late 2020s. Russia and China are also developing direct energy weapons. Sorry, I'm being fucked with right now. I believe they're zapping me because I'm doing this video, but who cares? Okay, let's watch this.
The Department of Justice Electromagnetic Weapons Program. The Department of Defense uses the Department of Justice to develop and test non-lethal weapons as an aspect of deniability because many of these applications violate existing treaties. By using the Department of Justice and classifying these programs as crowd control, they are able to avoid scrutiny and can violate the spirit of the law without technically being in violation of international treaties. In 1993, the National Institute of Justice Initiative on Less Than Lethal Weapons recommended that state and local police departments in America utilize psychotronic, electromagnetic, and other mind control weapons against American citizens involved in, quote, domestic disturbances, an open-ended term that could include family arguments. The report said, quote, short-term research will be completed to adopt military technology to use by domestic law enforcement, including laser, microwave, and electromagnetic weapons, unquote. The The Washington Post reported, quote, "The Pentagon and the DOJ have agreed to share state-of-the-art military technology with civilian law enforcement agencies, including exotic non-lethal weapons," unquote. This new approach to law enforcement was showcased in a 3-day secret conference on non-lethal weaponry at the Applied Physics Laboratory at Johns Hopkins University in Maryland. The conference head was Colonel John B. Alexander, Program Manager for Non-Lethal Psychotronic Defense, Los Alamos National Laboratory. Attending the meeting was Attorney General Janet Reno, military weapons specialists, and representatives from state and local police departments. Subjects included radio frequency weapons, high-powered microwave technology, acoustic technology, voice synthesis, and application of extreme frequency electromagnetic fields to non-lethal weapons.
Question about some of the technology that you're developing to fight the war on terror, specifically directed energy and high-powered microwave technology. When do you envision that you can weaponize that type of technology?
Goodness, it is in, for the most part, the kinds of things you're talking about are in varying early stages. Do you want to give anything you'd add?
I don't think I would add much. I think they are in early stages and probably not ready for employment at this point.
But you sound like you're willing to experiment with it.
I think that's the point, and I think, and it's we have, I think, from the beginning of this conflict, I think General Franks has been very open to looking at new things if there are new things available, and has been willing to put them into the fight even before they've been fully wrung out. And I think that's not referring to these two particular cases of directed energy or high-powered microwave, but sure.
Just the head was burned, and the other parts of the bodies wasn't anything happened on it.
Al-Ghazali reported that he had seen 3 passengers in a car, all dead, with their faces and teeth burnt, the body intact, and no sign of projectiles.
There wasn't any bullet. I saw the teeth, just the teeth, and no eyes. All of them, with the body, nothing for the bodies, just the teeth and all the heads were burned.
There were other inexplicable aspects. The terrain where the battle took place was dug up by the American military and replaced with other fresh earth. The bodies that were not hit by projectiles had shrunk to just slightly more than 1 meter in height.
Except that the bodies is killed by the bullets. Most of them that become very small. It's like that, something like that.
Talk with the colleague Dr. Saad Falucci, which is the chief surgeon in that hospital. Dr. Falucci said me that from the survivors that he operated, that they said they did not hear any noise. So there was no explosion to hear, no metal fragments or shrapnels or bullets in the bodies. So they themselves were thinking of some strange kinds of weapon which they did not know.
No gunshot wounds.
No. I think, I don't know what it was really. We are here 10 surgeons. We couldn't decide what was the weapon which been hit this car.
But inside the bodies you did not discover ordinary bullets.
All of them we didn't find bullets.
Yeah.
We didn't find bullets. But most of the passenger people been dead. So they took them immediately to the refrigerator. We couldn't dissect and see. But those who are alive, we couldn't find any kind of shells. We didn't find shells inside their body. extra outside.
It seems to be a new weapon.
It seems a new weapon.
They try to do experiments on our civilian.
We don't know what was...
Nobody can identify what the type of this was.
26 in the past. About 20 of them, some of them have no head. The head being cut. Some of them, the arms, the legs. The only one who didn't injure was the driver. And really, I don't know how he reached our hospital. Because one hand, one arm was in his lap. One head beside him. It was a very, very strange, horrible thing. In the roof of the car, there was part of the body, mental, intestine, brains.
Yes, all parts of the body.
It was a miserable, it was very, 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 very miserable.
I told them before.
Do you have idea with what kind of weapons they attacked that bus?
This bus, we didn't know what kind of weapon would be hit. Really, what we saw, cut arms, cut legs, cut head, abdomen, open abdomen.